If you're listening on podcast, be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel on YouTube at Wild and Weird WV.
Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio, a Wild and Weird West Virginia podcast.
Welcome back to Wild and Weird Radio, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again for a regularly scheduled podcast. And guys, thank you. Seriously, thank you for hanging in here with us the last few weeks. We know it's been kind of a roller coaster, touch and go, but we've made it to the other side.
Only if I don't lose this episode.
Yeah, if we don't lose this episode, because we had one of these for last week where we said thank you for hanging out, and something happened and it deleted out the episode and it was a mess.
Aliens, man, aliens.
It's
that little cake alien, I think.
Guys, it has been a while. Thank you for hanging in there with us through the chaos of the peak of
it's
festival
Brandon's
season.
fault.
You're right. We finally made it through the light at the end of the tunnel, and it wasn't a train.
Why are you cursing it like that? We still have several shows to go. I mean,
we've got 3.
Yeah,
but,
don't curse.
But none of them are as big as Mothman.
Oh no, they're not.
Mothman is what caused the traffic jam and bonded us up a little bit.
It's okay. It can do that every time. I don't.
Yeah, and I'm not going to complain about it.
Fine. It can absolutely just, it's cool. I don't care what it does. I'm very happy.
So we're back in the saddle again, everybody, and thank you for listening to us in your cubicle, in your car, or walking around in the warehouse. We know our night shift crew is tried and true listening to us. So again, if you have yet to make it over to the YouTube,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, right. We've got certain sections of the show where we're showing photos, we're showing documents and things like that. You can't see those on the audio side, but if you jump over to the YouTube, you've already listened to it on audio. You know where the cues are going to be. You can fast forward through, see the clips. But we also have a exclusive live show that occurs once a week, every Thursday at 8 p.m. over on YouTube. And that does not get broadcast usually. We've had to cheat a couple times this last month just to keep up, but usually that is an exclusive just for YouTube.
Well, they're longer, so
yeah, it's a 2-hour show. Yeah. We've got a huge community that comes and hangs out and asks questions. It's audience driven. It is not like your normal show where we're kind of on a path with this one. The live show is sometimes chaotic, but it's fun.
The live show is often chaotic, but it's very fun.
Yeah.
And last week's when we had Jeff Wamsley on there talking about the Mothman Festival, all that, for example, that was a great episode. And so I just cut that up and made that into it. But it worked out good because I think that our podcast audience needed to hear that too, because that's a rare thing to get Jeff.
It really is. He doesn't do a lot of interviews.
No, and to get him to tell the story, the witnesses.
But he loves us.
Does he? I don't know.
Love, loathe. Both start with an L.
I'm not sure, but no, Jeff's a pretty cool guy. He's practically family at this point, but it was really cool to actually get to put that on here for you guys and let you have a chance to hear the story from the man, because there's a lot of people who tell the story, right? Read it from the books or whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote the book, so at least one of them.
Literally.
So, literally. What else is going on out there? We got people to thank, but I don't remember all of them. So we should probably do that because that's important,
do.
I think.
Our executive producer chain that keeps growing here is Adam Good, Teresa of Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Dewey Edwards, the Deuster, James Boggs, Spooky Appalachia. That's Jimbo over there. Go check him out, by the way. He is so close to hitting a big milestone. Larry Hose, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Orednick from the Deep End Antique Store, Jeffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy White, and Scott Holbrook.
Yep, you guys have brought this episode about and manifested it for the whole world. Thank you so much.
Keeping it free for eons and eons to come.
Eons and
Oh, yeah.
eons. And what's really great about this, Joe, is like the people right now know this, but you know, the people on replay won't get this amazing chance. But the people who are watching it right now, as it on the premiere, you can donate at that point. So you can do the super sticker thing and whatnot. And that doesn't mean you have to. So don't think that this is, oh, they're asking for money.
Yep,
Like
we're definitely not.
Like
You
a
guys-
bunch of televangelists. They're passing around the plate. Well, the plate's always there. And we'll probably preach at you regardless. It doesn't matter. So case in point, you know, is just watch some of the episodes. You'll understand. But no, if you want to, you know, to contribute, by all means, you can do so. And every little dollar helps. So anyway, everybody, thank you all for being here. Let's fire up something here that we used to have. It's been so long, I don't even know where the button's at anymore. I believe we have a news desk that we go to from time to time. Isn't that how it used to be back before?
It used to be.
Yeah, because, you know, before we went to the alternate timeline or whatever it is that happened. So it's all coming back to me now. I remember that.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Wrong segment.
Is that the Christian rock version?
No, man. Meatloaf just rolled over in his grave. Sorry about that.
That's by the band Thorns Two Crosses.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, you know, that was actually a band that traveled through Kentucky once upon a time, and they did not think out that name.
I'm just not even going to comment on it. That's how much
They
I
did
didn't
not.
think
Like,
about it.
there was they had it on a trailer, and they acronymed it on the
No.
trailer, and I was like, because I was a
No.
youth pastor at the time, and I said, "You've got to be kidding me!" Someone, either they did this on purpose, or somebody is really that
So anyway.
It might have just been that oblivious.
right.
Jeez.
Anyway, the news desk.
Yeah, that's what that music meant. It means we're supposed to be at the news desk, but you guys are just blathering on about nonsense. So I don't even know what's happening. I'm just here. So I'm just grabbing
the
some
first
drink.
thing that showed up in the news this week took me by surprise, and I immediately sent it over to you guys. And oddly enough, it had been sent out. Mind you, I sent it to you guys on Sunday. Sunday of this past week was it fell on the 24th. Okay, today is September 26th. I sent this to you guys on the 24th.
Oh, so this was after the rapture.
This was after the rapture, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So all of us are heathens that have been left behind.
Fair.
Almost a week and a half earlier, on the 15th, there was a report back from the James Webb satellite stating they had discovered dimethyl sulfide, which is a compound that is only produced by living organisms, everybody.
Yep.
Now, for those of you that don't know what the James Webb is, it is our deep space telescope that is looking way into outer space.
Well, into the
particularly-
past as well.
Yeah, into the past. Right.
And its primary mission was to literally, and I'm not joking, to seek out new life. That
Yes.
was literally what it was designed to do. One of its primary objectives was to seek out new life, extraterrestrial life.
And this planet was an exoplanet in the Goldilocks zone, 120 light years away. That is not that far, guys.
No.
In terms of where we expected to find life first. Everybody was thinking it was going to be thousands and thousands of light years away.
Well, I thought it would be Mars, but you know, it's a potential that it would be far. We did talk about this.
Right.
we said it would either be close or it would be far. And I know, boy, you got to get one of them right. But why
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
that was, it's either way, it's not a threat. And if it was close, it was going to be ancient. It was going to be microbial. It was going to be a fossil. It was going to be something that couldn't harm us ever. Well, 120 light years away, it could have an entire colony out there, possibly. But it's going to take them a while to get here because
Right.
science tells us they can't do that.
Well, astrologically speaking, that's just like right down
Wait,
the
you
block
just said
from us.
astrological. I'm going to smack you for saying
No,
that
astronomically, sorry.
because that's two
You can
separate
edit
things,
that.
Brandon. No, I won't. No.
It's going to
No.
mar your resume
That's
forever.
that's gold.
Oh, great.
That's gold, buddy. That's gold.
But no, Brandon's right.
No, he's right. He's 100% right. And
It's practically next door.
Mhm.
And the fact that this was being found, this isn't microorganisms that are producing this, by the way.
what do we think it is? Does anyone have a hunch? No, wait, they don't have a hunch because they didn't even as much as share this out until weeks after it happened.
Right. It was captured on the 15th. This is when this information
Oh, no, no,
first
no.
touched
We know
ground.
what also happened
When
recently?
was it actually happened? Though? When
Oh,
do you
well, it
think
was
actually
detected on
happened?
September the 11th. That's when the satellite actually
that what it
detected was
says?
September the
Okay.
11th. Yes, but the first trickle of the report came out on the 15th, and it went to nowhere. It sat flat on a desk somewhere, and it went to these nowhere news stations that did not broadcast anything. And I found it in Popular Mechanics, and it was published
Which
on the
tells me,
23rd. I
buddy,
found it on the 24th.
Popular Mechanics, I mean, typically they write something after they've had it a while, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so this has been
Mhm.
this has been known for a while, is what I'm trying to get at here.
And there's not been any public announcement.
Before it was even announced, it was known, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
So when did you think that they actually found this? Brandon, go ahead. You have something there, buddy.
I was gonna say I'm gonna connect the dot. Do you remember what else happened recently when they launched that satellite with 27 hours notice all of a sudden and didn't notify the public?
Space lasers. No, I mean that's the answer to everything. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Forgive me.
Yeah, the Space Force accidentally could have punched a hole in the ozone layer, which is
Yeah.
fairly routine.
Yeah. Yeah, their little spy satellite that they tried to launch.
But what Brandon said was really, takes we need to look at it.
Hmm.
How much time did they give notice to the team to launch this again, Brandon? What did they say?
27 hours.
It's a day plus
There's a
3
reason.
hours.
There's a reason for that. You don't
Yeah.
do that.
No,
There's a reason for that.
that is a
That's a
rapid deployment.
That is a strategic initiative, is what that is. Someone made that call because there's a window. There's a window of opportunity that had to be taken at that
Yeah.
precise time. The question is why. And then you look at what they were actually deploying, and I told you this, Brandon, when you showed me the thing. The code name itself is ludicrous.
Oh yeah, the code name, the Latin in the code name.
I mean,
Was it Vectus Nox?
yeah,
I think
it's
that's what it was.
something night. What is it? I can't remember what it was called.
It was Victus Nox is what the program was,
Yep.
which was, oh gosh, what Victus is victory.
I mean, it's
Victory
Conquer
over-
the Night.
Conquer the night, I think, is what it
Conquer
means.
the night. Conquer the night. That's it. Conquer the night. Yes. So, and then you look at its mission statement, its goal for what that thing was supposed to do. It's to watch for literal threats in orbit. I know what everyone's thinking. Oh, well, they're just talking about, these other countries and potential launching missiles. And for the love of God, we have stuff that already does that.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a
Now,
lot of stuff that does that.
now to address what some of our listeners might be thinking, they're going towards the more skeptic side of this. A screw isn't that big of a threat, but a screw moving at 17,000 miles an hour in our orbit can wreck shop.
Oh, yeah.
So, it could be checking those things out.
It's not. But yes,
But we
it could
already
be.
have stuff in place for that.
Yes. 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 Literally, NORAD tracks every piece of crap up there. There's actually a map that you can get. It shows,
And you can watch it yourself.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You have to wonder how anything can even get close to Earth.
Yeah.
Because we have a literal shield of crap around this planet. We have done to our orbit what we have done to our Earth on the actual physical level of land.
Like, honest to God, I'm surprised that we haven't started, like, that there hasn't been some kind of climate activists that were like, let's stop landfills. Let's launch our garbage into orbit. And literally just weekly, we're packing these
What's the
containers.
point? We already have. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean,
You remember that Futurama episode about that, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're living so much of the Futurama, it's not even funny at this point. They're like
They had to move off from The Simpsons. The Simpsons are the same guys, but they had to move off. It was getting too creepy.
Simpsons, Futurama is better. Anyway.
So what do you guys think concerning the James Webb and what was discovered? Like, personally, my hypothesis is that this is a rainforest or a coral reef that is producing enough because this planet that they found it on is like they think it's mostly water.
Yeah.
So a coral reef would make sense. It's either that or a rainforest, in my opinion, or aliens. Technically, even the coral would be aliens.
Still be alien, man.
Alien coral.
What about like a tremendous amount of algae? Could that possibly do it?
Oh man, it'd have to be like.
But yes,
it could be. It could be, but it would have to be like absurd.
So it could be Dagobah, is what he's saying.
Yeah. It would have to be like a swamp, massive swamp planet to be able to generate that much. But because yes.
Yep. Yoda wants your garbage. So here's the thing, right? So it could be some kind of a coral type situation, and boy, that just I'd get more excited with that than I would aliens, to be honest with you, because I can't even imagine the possibility of another ocean on another
we could go start fragging coral and bring that home.
Oh my God!
Start propagating in our tanks.
Forget
where there's oceans, there's oil. Let's bomb them.
I mean, why not? All right. Let's fire up the ships.
Let's go fire it up.
Why do you think they don't let us leave this planet, Brandon?
Speaking of new minerals, this is the next thing across the news desk. I don't know if you guys seen this one because I forgot to send it over.
Element 115? No.
Kind of close. Last week.
I don't have any of that. That was just me saying the word.
Last week, a package arrived on planet Earth.
I did see that.
That was sent out. It was we sent a probe out, right? And it landed on an asteroid and took a sample and immediately returned. It was a 6-second land and takeoff. That's how quick this thing operated. But during its landing, what I found most interesting is this thing started sinking like quicksand. So this asteroid's, the surface of it anyway, isn't solid.
Yeah.
It's like a mushy mass that's traveling through space at Mach Jesus. And when this satellite tried to land on it, it almost went into it. And had it not been for the 6-second timer to collect a sample and eject, this thing would have become part of the asteroid.
Wow.
So it was just happenstance that it was planned for an immediate land extract and takeoff. But had it not been for that 6-second timer, man, we'd have lost billions and billions of dollars there. But it returned with some interesting minerals, compounds that aren't natural here on this planet, which would be obvious. So we got our first interstellar debris that was collected from an asteroid last week.
Mm-hmm.
And we called this a long time ago. Asteroid mining is the future.
It is, but I don't really think that that's what they were doing. I think this is a recon mission to test out what you just said. There has been long theorized possibility that these things are not completely solid, at least some of them. So if you have to say go up against one. You want to know what it's made of.
Yeah.
And I'd say that this was probably a little bit of a recon just to see, can we do it? Can we really land that thing and scoop and go as fast as we can? You know, not that this one was a threat, but I'm just saying at some point in the future, can we do that? Yeah, it actually worked out. And it also worked out that someone was like, told you so. Because
So
guarantee you
I'm gonna
there's that
put
guy.
my tinfoil hat on here.
Oh, no, not the
Uh-huh.
tinfoil hat.
Think about this. What if I'm a gardener and grew up gardening,
Yeah,
and I've purchased in the past these packets
seeds.
that were fertilizer with a seed in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hypothetically, if you have a package that you need to deliver onto the surface of a planet, you would want it surrounded by material that would burn up in the atmosphere, but the solid core would make it through. Just saying. This could be how terraforming works. You know?
Oh.
No, I
They're
get you. I just think that every time we look up and we make a wish on a shooting star, they're all beautiful. I think that's our old homeworld burning in the
Burning.
atmosphere.
The atmosphere. So now let's again though what I think's most interesting about its mass and it being squishy, for lack of a better term. This it's moving through space quickly,
Yeah.
but it's maintaining shape. It's maintaining form. It's not just like falling apart. So, is it large enough that it's generated its own gravity to where it's holding itself together, or is there some kind of molecular bonding that's occurring, and it's keeping its form on purpose, like maybe magnetics or something?
Or maybe it's the speed that's keeping it held together.
Man, I ain't gonna play astrophysicist. I don't know.
We need to get Neil Tyson on the show.
Oh yeah, we'll get Michio.
Michio Kaku.
Yeah, Michio
Michio would
Kaku.
fit
Let's
the
get him.
show. Yeah, he's fit the show a lot better.
He would. I don't know. Have you seen some of the stuff that Tyson's been talking about recently with some of these new discoveries and how he's kind of becoming a little bit more open-minded?
We'll see.
I'm curious. I'm wanting to see if this trajectory keeps its course with
It
him.
won't. Don't worry.
Eh,
They always have to have one they pay off. There are always two.
so what else we got in the news, folks?
I don't know. What else we got in the news, Brandon? You always have something interesting to talk about. You're
Yeah,
not
something
talking
weird
much,
came up.
Brandon.
Something came across the desk today. It was weird, and there's no answer for it yet.
Oh.
There was a man from Bulgaria who went missing, and they found his body 16 days later, and he was almost completely mummified.
I saw
That's
that
not
episode
how that
of
works.
X-Files once. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what baffles scientists, because they said the only way that could usually happen is in a dry climate with very high heat. And his body looks like a bog body.
A
Like
bog
some
body.
of it's been consumed by maggots, but most of it's intact.
Huh.
Wow.
They describe the
That's
skin
odd.
as hard, leathery, and dark brown.
So he looks like the little Mexico alien.
Now, this was more convincing than those things were.
This is amazing. We have more things turning into those little paper mache aliens, right?
So, are they sure that this is the same dude?
Yep. They did
real.
DNA testing on him.
Huh.
He was
Time
only
travel.
34 years old, too, it said, so he wasn't like... He didn't have
Step
any
through a
health
portal.
issues or anything like that.
That's
why
a
you
good
guys,
one.
Trivia.
okay, so here's the deal. You guys who want to go out and sit in the desert and point your lasers at the sky, make contact with these aliens, and talk to them, and I want to go on your ship. I want to go through your portal. Dude, do you not think for 1 minute that that's possibly what happened to this poor schmuck? He was out there in the desert, probably paid, several grand to go sit out there and point lasers at the sky.
The golden one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. And then all of a sudden, poof, he's gone. Where'd Terry go?
Well,
The Space Brothers took him. Well,
let me read you this
he'll be
one theory.
fine. Uh-oh. No, don't ruin it for me.
This one scientist has a theory for it because his body was found not far from train tracks. They think
No.
The trains blowing warm air passing his body repeatedly is what sped up the mummification
Are you for
process.
real?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the
That
thing.
is the lamest.
I worked in Nitro. Joe was there. There was a train track literally right across the street from us every single day, and it drove by multiple times a day.
To be fair, we never checked on all those birds that were on the roof to see how quickly they mummified.
Oh, okay, that's true. But it never
We were
really,
protected by the ancient brick
Yeah.
walls.
It never really sucked the air out, or I don't think.
No, never.
So, like I said, when you're out there playing with your portals, don't be surprised if you open one up and you go through it and you end up a mummy, several years later, and someone digs you up. I mean, right? That can happen.
Let me tell you what this reminds me of. So there was a Doctor Who episode where two of his companions got warped back in time like 40 years, and the exact place where they were standing was where their tombstone was a few seconds later.
Sounds about right.
That's what that reminds me of. It's like he got zapped back in time long enough for him to get mummified exactly where he died at.
Yeah, that's why you don't mess with that stuff.
Something weird like that.
It's really odd. Like, there's no reason, like, unless.
Here, let me send you guys the pictures of it real
Unless
quick.
it's misinformation created to confuse and confound people so they don't see the space lasers.
That's possible.
Like, he looks
Cool.
like he's been in a peat bog for at least 100
Yeah, he does.
years.
It looks like a peat mummy. And what we're saying there, years ago, these bodies were found. Where were they at, guys? They were somewhere.
Like Scotland, Norway,
Yeah.
Finland, like
And
those
they-
northern
Yeah,
areas.
there were
Yeah.
Northmen.
And they thought that they were just like sacrifices that the druids had thrown into these peat bogs, basically, and they sunk. And well, they were perfectly preserved. And that's kind of what it looks like. He does look
Yeah.
like he has been preserved, either in that or permafrost. It's one of the two.
It reminded me of permafrost with the color of the skin and the tautness.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, what was that one's name? Utsi?
Utsi.
Utsi.
Mm-hmm.
Utsi, the Iceman.
The Iceman. Yeah, the Iceman. And there's just a lot of. That's interesting, guys. There's some interest here because something clearly happened to this guy, and there are no actual answers. So I mean, I can't really say anything constructive on this one. All I can do is just make generalizations.
You know, what's funny too is, well, it's not funny, but they've tried to replicate a lot of mummification processes in labs, and they can't get it to look that good in a lab.
Well, it's because they don't have the technology, because, they took it back. No, I'm kidding. I don't really know why.
Well, there's actually never been a papyrus from Egypt found that told the whole process because they kept that secret guarded so close.
Well, yeah.
So we don't know exactly how ancient Egyptians, but they were still doing it up until Cleopatra. They were still doing that whole mummification process up until that recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that information is just gone.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder. Why they call them the Dark Ages? I don't know. Why they call them the Dark Ages? Did all the lights go out? Or did we just lose all of our enlightenment?
So what else do we have? Because there's not going to be an answer. We're not going to be able to come up with it. It's all going to be hyper speculation at this point with this body, because it's so bizarre. It just shouldn't. It's out of place. It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't have happened.
It's become an out of place artifact, literally.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. At this point, yeah. I think the best thing that we're going to do is keep our ears open on this story, and keep our ears open on the 120 light year away discovery of potential life, and keep an eye on what NASA is getting ready to do, because we're getting ready to move into a little more UFO stuff. It's going to be coming down here real soon. You notice it got real quiet there.
It has, but
Okay.
it's all going to spin back up with this James Webb announcement, because they're supposed to have a.
It's going to be interesting. See
NASA's supposed to have a hearing now.
Well, I think NASA's getting to the point where it just, like I said before, I don't think it wants to be on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
When all this comes down, like,
I did have a weird UFO story that came across. If you guys want to hear that one real quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So in 1970, a U.S. Air Force pilot who was stationed in England went on a routine. It was basically like war games in the sky, and all of a sudden they lose contact with him. They can't find a trace of him for, I think, a couple months. They found his plane at the bottom of the North Sea, but they don't find him. And the cockpit was completely sealed. The ejection seat was still in there. The glass wasn't shattered around his cockpit or anything like that. As far as I could tell, it hadn't been opened, but he was completely missing. And apparently some UFO hunters back in the 90s got a hold of this story, and some people made up a fake transcript saying that he was chasing a UFO or something. But the RAF is denying that was real. That never happened. But they never had an explanation for how he just vanished out of his cockpit. Now, there was an ex-pilot who flew with that man who gave an idea. He thinks that when he collided with the water, it threw him out of his cockpit. And then the pressure of the ocean, when it went under so far, closed the cockpit back up. That's the only explanation that sounds reasonable to me.
I mean, if it that could technically happen the way the hydraulics in those cockpits work. If the aircraft turned tail down and sank, the motion and the pressure of the water would have closed the top.
Well, from what they could tell, he hit the water nose down going 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, it blew it apart. It's like hitting concrete at that point.
Why wouldn't he have ejected?
That's a good question. Well, okay, so there's an explanation for that too. Actually, he was flying at nighttime.
Right? Okay.
And he only had 18 hours of flight time at night at that point.
Okay.
So he might have lost track of the horizon, just flew straight in the ocean.
That can happen, but again, if that happened, then there should be a bigger mess.
You think?
Oh yeah, that plane would have popped apart and there'd been floating bits scattered everywhere.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been a plane. There surely wouldn't have been a sealed cockpit. So yeah, that's a weird one, Brandon. I'd like to hear more.
Crashing nose down, like you're basically crashing into a street at that point.
That's a tornado, right? Is that what you were just saying? That was the aircraft. That's a hypersonic aircraft.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about an aircraft that can literally, like, in minutes, it can be, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles away.
Speaking of aircraft that can be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles away, did they ever find that F-35?
Yeah, they found it.
They did? I hadn't seen that. Okay.
Yeah, they found it in two places, depending on what conspiracy theory you want to believe.
Oh, God. Oh, here we go.
It was either A, crashed in South Carolina, or it was B, somehow it got hacked and got flown to Cuba. Now, I've seen absolutely nothing that verifies that or validates that, so that would be the conspiracy theory. But there is a massive crash site in South Carolina, and I would say that that's more than likely where it is. Now, we've been warning you people for how long, Brandon, Joe, have we been warning about AI? How long have we been warning about this?
Oh, a couple years at least.
Couple years. My theory is they were screwing around with something AI related. That's my theory. And we won't know, because if that's the case, they want to keep it hush hush. Because
they won't tell us.
No, and not only that because there's a lot of money at stake with AI. Why do you think after a year of people warning, AI is going to kill everyone, AI is going to take over, and all of a sudden it's just been dead quiet? Do you think they actually gave a crap and stopped developing it?
No. Google's about to come out with a huge AI engine itself.
Exactly.
It's supposed to debut in a few days, I think.
They just literally went underground with it, so you wouldn't think about it anymore. That's what they did. So, my question is, were they just messing around with some kind of new AI system where that plane was, because it was flying itself. Hey, that plane was flying itself.
It was. The pilot lost control. That's why he ejected.
But yeah, so the theory is that, something happened that caused that that pilot to get ejected, and that plane flew itself on autopilot. Well, that plane wouldn't have been on autopilot. If you're going to eject, what's going to happen, Joe? What's the SOP?
Everything's supposed to shut down. Aircraft goes down.
Bingo. Goes down in a area that's been designated by the pilot.
Yep.
It's a safe area. It's a safe zone to ditch the aircraft, and you have a clear line to get out, right?
Yep.
So why was the aircraft still flying itself?
That is not cool.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Starlink.
Hey,
Or Skynet. Sorry.
Skynet. Yeah, well,
Same
all the
thing, right?
Different name labels.
Sounds more like that thing was being flown by Hal.
Telling you
there's a
guys,
throwback.
I think that they were.
This is my plane now.
This is what I'm getting at. Yeah, I don't think so,
Yeah.
Dave. I'm thinking that this could be what happened. I don't know. It's my own theory.
It very well could be. I'd love to talk to that guy.
You guys run with that and figure it out yourself. I'm not for 1 minute saying that that's what happened. I'm saying that I would not put it beyond a shadow of a reasonable doubt at this point, because of course they're trying to weaponize AI. I mean,
Right.
well, they've already said, that the last generation of fighter pilots is here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be planes that are flying themselves and able to maneuver and whatnot at this point.
Or we
Well,
can
we
fly them
know
all
for
with
a
a
fact.
video game controller.
Well, yeah, but we all know for a fact that, they're doing it right now on the road. Those test vehicles, they still have people in those test vehicles in case something goes wrong.
Hopefully they don't use those Logitech controllers that submarine did that went down to the Titanic.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
But, the good thing is, I guess the people who are in these test vehicles on the road, they don't have an ejection seat. So
Oh, my car has that. I love freaking Emily out by letting go of the wheel.
you have ejection seat?
Don't do that.
Oh, I thought he had an ejection seat. I'm like,
I was going to say, can I get one in my truck? That'd be great.
that's pretty cool, huh? Hey, speaking of which, I was going to let you guys see a picture. I caught something tonight. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. We were driving through town, and I was like, well, what is that? And let's see if I can pull it up there where you guys can see it. Well, that is a mobile LiDAR
Yeah.
system.
Oh,
What are they
that
doing?
is. Well, it says that they're on the side of the truck mapping the nation's infrastructure.
Oh, okay. Now, they were flying their planes not too long ago, and there were people like getting freaked out because the planes were flying over and over and over between Albans and Nitro, where the new bridges were being put in. And there were people saying that there's a strange aircraft flying around that keeps making the same passes over and over and over. And they were thinking it was like spies or something like that. And then somebody actually got a good picture of the aircraft.
That's what spies do. Spies do that.
Right.
They
got a
over
good-
the
so it was
same
obvious.
area. I thought that was interesting. Remember a few years ago when Google did that? They
Yeah.
were running around with the Google thing, and we got Google Earth, right? A little bit after that. Well,
Yep.
here's this one. So the next navigation system's LiDAR. So you can imagine some of the more sophisticated technology and maps.
Well,
that
you
are
would
coming.
need LiDAR for self-driving cars.
You would, yeah.
That's how they would program the self-driving cars to stay on the roads.
Yeah, it's very possible, man. LiDAR will let you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wish I had that truck. I wouldn't be wasting my time with it doing that. We'd be driving that thing
Right.
around some really cool places. So, yeah, basically there was a full research vehicle right in front of me is what I'm saying. We just had to hijack it. Wasn't worth prison, so. Figured there's better ways to do it. Like you guys supporting us by donating every now and again. Every dollar helps and keeps us from hijacking LiDAR trucks. I mean, that's how we roll around here. Well, gentlemen, I think that was the news, and I'm gonna end it, and we're gonna start our actual episode here. And it's really just it's a teaser episode because something really cool is about to happen. And so here we go.
So, everybody, this is the introduction to the 4th annual Wild and Weird Spooktacular. Yeah, so we got spooky stories.
I'm not impressed at all. That was weak. So yeah, for you folks who don't know, for the past ever how many seasons, 4 seasons now, we've been doing these, and they're fun. We usually do it on spooky season, right? So,
Yep.
which to us, that's, to be fair, everyone's got your own little thing. You can, whatever you want to identify a spooky season with, for you is fine. July, I don't care. Whenever they start releasing the friggin' Christmas ornaments in July, people think it's Christmas too. So I'm not gonna judge, but we observe spooky season the beginning of October.
Yep.
Running up to the end of October. And we started doing this little, every week, there for 4 weeks, we'll do a special episode, and it'll be something spooky, which is wonderful when you only have 4 episodes. But this will be the first time that we have to have four
lives.
more. Yeah. So we've got 4 regular episodes with 4 lives on top. We have special guests coming on board for some of these. We'll be doing some story time, some reading. We'll be doing some, telling some true stories and whatnot as well, like accounts and stuff. And at some point, I think Brandon might actually read to you, but I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Depends if it's in his contract. I don't know.
What are you paying me?
See.
Right.
Oh, ride with this guy.
Royalties.
Royalties.
So yeah. You'll get royalties. Like it might take a few years, but you'll get them.
As I keep donating.
No, if you keep donating, I can promise you that won't be going. That's not where it's
Right.
going. It's not.
Right.
No, it'll be going to research. It'll be going to, making sure that the show keeps running. But
For
it won't
free.
be- yeah,
Keep
but it
running
won't.
for free.
It will not go to Brandon for royalty. You can mark my word for that.
Well, everybody,
Not
we've
yet.
each got something spooky to share with you. Ron's might be the spookiest of them all
We're saving
tonight.
mine for last because it's going to be fun times. Fun times.
So, Brandon, do you have yours ready?
Sure.
Okay,
Oh,
you want
that
to lead
doesn't
off?
sound like you're very enthusiastic. That's not a spooktacular kind of response, Brandon. Try to.
Yes.
There we go. That's more like it.
That's creepy. I'll take it. It's cool.
All right, so Brandon, you are going to be first on deck telling your spooky story, and then I've got one that comes from the far off lands of Tanzania, and Ron's is just you'll see.
Well, I was looking around for some other people's experiences, but I haven't really talked about mine that much. So I decided to share a little story from my childhood.
Uh-oh.
It's something that I actually think about pretty often. But my grandma lived in an old coal camp house that was about 100 years old by the time that I was a little kid. And they actually inherited that from my step-grandfather's grandmother, I think is who gave it to him when she passed away. But the room that I slept in was the only second bedroom that house had. The way it was designed was coal camps didn't have a hallway. You had to walk through successive rooms to get through the house.
Because they would just build on rooms as they needed them.
Yeah. The way that they had theirs designed was they cut 2 of the rooms in half and made like a sitting room that you could walk through to get to all the rooms. And I used to hear footsteps walking past that room all night long, like heavy footsteps just pacing. And they had like one of those accordion doors that you like open like this. That thing would move by itself. Something would pull it back, leave it open for a few seconds, and then close it. And I remember looking up to see who it was, and I never saw anybody. And there was also, she had a potpourri pot that she had in that room that she would turn on sometimes for fragrance, and it would just turn on by itself in the middle of the night. And the smell was so strong that it would wake me up. But the creepiest thing that ever happened to me in there was I remember I was going to sleep one night, and I heard someone in my right ear say my name, and I could feel their breath on my ear, and I could feel the heat from their breath. And I was so afraid I couldn't turn over to look.
Oh, man. You said your name?
Yeah.
Man.
But,
That sucks, Brandon.
yeah, several years ago, I decided to actually tell her about that. And she told me she's never had any experiences in that house, but that room was actually, his grandmother actually used to rent that room out to out-of-state coal miners to sleep in. And they would go home on their weekends. Well, 2 of them actually died in that room from heart attacks.
Oh, wow.
I was like, well, that's great to know.
That's a fun room.
We're going to put you in the death room, Brandon. Have fun.
Brandon,
And for anybody who's not familiar with what
death
a coal
room?
camp house is,
Oh.
they were all built the same. They were all built very quickly. Usually the insulation on the walls was like wadded up newspapers. They were usually in rapid succession. There would be like a whole camp. That's why they call them coal camps.
They look exactly the same.
And they're all identical. And the families would build on rooms as needed as the family grew. And you can drive through certain parts of Appalachia today, particularly through eastern Kentucky, southern West Virginia, parts of Tennessee, and still see the remnants of some of these coal camps that are still standing, that are 150, almost 200-year-old homes. They're still standing. Some of them, I've seen some that have been absolutely turned into something really nice for a small family, but a lot of them are in really poor, dilapidated conditions.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they're very just typical. You can look it up, Google it, and you'll see normally overhead pictures taken from the top of a mountain where you'll just see a string of houses. And a lot of tragedies took places in those homes. Like Brandon mentioned, there was a lot of people that would come in from out of town that died in those bedrooms in those houses. A lot of those families themselves died in those houses from things like black lung or injuries they accrued in the coal mine.
Well, ghosts.
Or ghosts getting the crap scared out of them.
Right.
You know?
Brandon.
And those old accordion doors, man, those are hard to open manually. Like the fact that was swinging open on its own.
Yeah, accordion doors have a unique way of opening that they require force to actually push all those.
It's 2 nuts in a track, a top and a bottom, and you have to force them apart. They don't just, there's not a spring.
And they're pretty loud.
Yeah, they are loud. Yeah. Wow. And it's really terrible that it said your name. That's bad, Brandon.
All you had to do is say, what? And then you would have wound up like those guys.
It's bad, Brandon. You did a good job. You managed to do it. Way to go. Because here's what happens. If a ghost ever says your name, you don't want to say, what? Because it's probably been trying to reach you about your auto insurance. Or, it's going to be some kind of a contract. It's something you don't want, guys. So just
hey,
don't.
son, you want to play guitar real good?
See, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It never ends
here,
well.
You son of a gun.
Yeah, it never ends well. So unless you're
her house wasn't at a crossroads, so I think I was okay.
Unless you're a really good fiddle player, I just wouldn't advise. Just saying. History just taught us that.
Man. Well, mine, my story comes from Tanzania, and
what else is in Tanzania? That reminds me of something.
The Tanzania has a few folkloric stories that are kind of scary. There's also like a lot of reptiles that is common in the hobby from Tanzania.
Oh Lord, that's probably what it is. Just carry on.
That's probably what's standing out so much. But anyway, this thing is called the Night Demon.
Oh, this is going to be a fun story, kid.
Yeah, right. Super fun. You're going to see where it gets fun here in a minute. So this is an evil creature that stalks this island called Pimba. It's out in the Indian Ocean in Tanzania. And that right there, that's probably where we think Tanzania is from the coral trade, because it's coming off the coast of Tanzania. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it can change shape. So this is a shape-shifting, bat-like, human-like,
oh god,
monster-like creature. And it prefers to come out at night, but some say that they've seen it during the day. Now, this creature, the Popo Bawa, is which translates directly to bat-wing, right? Now, this bat-winged creature is pretty indiscriminate in its targets, but it does have an affinity towards sexually assaulting men.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So this thing has a propensity for attacking men at night and sexually assaulting them. And this is really dates back only like a few decades. This is like maybe at best, I think one of the earliest trackings on this story I found were like 45, 50 years old. Wow. And it goes back to a time of civil unrest. And it's the popular thinking about the Popo Bawa attacks, that the victims must spread the word to others on the island in Pimba. Otherwise, they will continue to be visited by the Popo Bawa. Now, this creature, by reports, has bat-like wings, is man-like but has wings, and is often seen with bright red eyes. Now, that kind of sounds like our Mothman. However, Mothman wasn't trying to clap those cheeks, if you get what I mean.
No.
So this is like a monster erotica Mothman.
Right. This is like what a lot of people write fan fiction about.
No.
But this thing, it caused a lot of panic. And here, just as early as 2007, there was a huge breakout in sightings, and it was even reported on the BBC, where these people were so worried about being attacked by this thing at night that they were smearing themselves in pig oil, which is basically like lard. You know, when you bake bacon, you get bacon grease. They were smearing themselves in pig grease, so that way they were harder to hold on to. And they could skip away from this thing's grasp as it was trying to grab a hold of them.
You know, the logic is there.
So, right? I mean, if this thing is known for wrapping its arms around you, grabbing you, and going to town, the first thing I would want to do is maybe be slippery so that way I could spring out, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's what a report came out was. This is what this goes back. This is a 1997 report of the Popo Bawa attack. I couldn't see it. I could only feel it. But some people in my house could see it. Those who've got the spirits in their heads could see it. Everybody was terrified. They were outside screaming, "Huyo," which it means that the Popo Bawa is there. Like that's their
I'm
call.
pretty sure I'd be screaming something else.
Me too. Yeah. So I had this bad pain in my ribs where it was grabbing me and crushing me. I don't believe in spirits, so maybe that's why it attacked me. Maybe it will attack anybody who doesn't believe.
Man, that should have been an X-Files episode.
Right? I mean, it has everything you need for TV. You've got a incubus, because it says it looks like a man, so it'd be an incubus and not a succubus. Right, so you've got this incubus that is basically kind of Mothman-like, but with bat wings, and is attacking people, sexually assaulting them, and people in response are covering themselves in pig grease, in what renders down to bacon fat. I mean,
this is just bizarre.
It's super weird. And that's why I thought, like, here's a spooky story that scared a lot of people.
It's not spooky. It's disturbing.
Well, it's spooky in the sense that only certain people can see it.
Yeah,
right?
People with the spirits in their head.
Exactly. So
what does that even mean, by the way?
It's
okay. He's got spirits in his head.
Now, Now, this is based off my traveling to third world countries. That is a common term that is used for people who are, it could be clairvoyant, who have that speak to the dead, or would have some kind of sensitive gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So all of us got the spirits in our heads. Well, that's good
Yep.
to know, guys.
You should go do cocaine about it. You got the
I'm
ghosts
not
in your
gonna
blood.
Yeah, right. What in the world?
But yeah, like the reaction to this was what kind of caught me off the most. What caught me off guard was that they're covering themselves in like bacon grease.
Yeah. It's just,
You know, they're like smearing themselves down so that way if they get grabbed by this thing, they can pop right out and run.
I don't know what's more funny, the sound you just made or the me picturing people
Right?
running around like a little cartoon.
Well, what if I had the
pig.
opposite effect and they're all lubed up and it enjoys it better? Thanks
Now-
for making it easier, pal.
Oh God.
Now there is another. This one, you know, is kind of a spooky story. Okay, this one, and it's also got a little bit of a funny twist as well because you know I'm the one that found him. This is called this is a Japanese tale, right? This is something that happens in
Lord.
in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
My favorite in the past. I mean, you know me and my yokai.
Man, no,
Like
no,
you,
no.
we're gonna get those kappas that are gonna steal your buttholes. That was on last year's spectacular. So this is the girl in the bathroom. So in Japan, these the schools that are like they're kind of like boys and girls school. They have them the kids separated, and there's this deep dark secret that if you go into the girls' bathroom on the third floor of a building, and you walk into the third stall, you might find this I guess spirit, or because they don't call it a yokai. I think it's like a
Got the
ghost.
spirits in their heads.
Yeah, they got spirits in their heads.
Okay.
So, but the threes continue. Okay,
Okay.
you go to the third stall on the third floor, but you have to knock 3 times and call her name.
Three
Okay?
times, right?
Yes, and when you open the stall door, a little girl in a red skirt will be there. Now, this little girl has a bob haircut, and she wants a friend to play with.
Oh Lord.
But the story goes that if she sees you, she is going to drag you to hell through the toilet.
Okay. Okay.
So depending on which part of Japan you live in, this girl might have a bloody hand or blood smeared on her dress. However, the context that if you interact with her, she will drag you to hell through the toilet is consistent. And this has been part of Japanese urban folklore for at
okay.
least the last 100 years.
Okay, I can jive with this one, right? Because we figured it all out tonight. All right, so this is what happened to the weird mummy guy.
It could be because part of what she does is like if she doesn't drag you to hell, like all of you to hell, then she's just going to rip your legs off.
See, there it is. I mean, what a wholesome story, and it absolutely explains our mystery. Case solved. Stick it, Mulder.
Yes, it does. This man in Bulgaria was drugged into the toilet,
Yes.
into hell, and his body was
it's-
ejected from hell because somebody found him and said, "What are you doing here? Get out, yeet!" and chucked his body back to the earthly plane in which he landed mummified.
Probably.
I was thinking Majin Buu got a hold of him and turned him into black licorice.
Could have done that too.
Could be.
Could
I mean,
have
you
done-
got to look at it, man. Like toilets
You
to
know-
hell. Only the Japanese can do this. I love
That
the
story reminds me, in Harry Potter,
that
there's a
reason.
ghost that haunted the girl's bathroom.
Japanese. Oh, the moaning myrtle.
Yeah,
Moaning Myrtle.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
don't go to Tokyo Potter World.
Huh? It's going to be a completely different experience, kids.
You might enter
Right.
Tokyo Potty World.
Yeah, it won't be good. Wow, that's
Oh, man.
amazing, dude. That is awesome. Such good, wholesome stories.
I know, right?
I want to see that Junji Ito comic so bad. Like, that would be a fantastic horror comic. I want to see that.
Well, your stories were just great, guys. I mean, we had, I don't even know what that first story was all about. I don't even want to think about it. I'm getting out of my head right now. But then we got this little, ghost demon thing dragging people to hell through a toilet of all kinds of things, and Brandon, I don't even know what to say about you, man. I mean, you barely made it, because I'll bet you were that close to being dragged through a toilet. Based on that story.
And mummified.
Yeah, and mummified. Spit out in the field somewhere. Mummified. I mean, my story is just based in reality, which reality is probably more scary than anything, right?
Yeah.
And what's more scary in reality than people who are trying to make us afraid of everything under the sun? That's right. I'm talking about the media. Because the media, my God, you talk about a scary Halloween story. I'm going to give you guys a scary Halloween story. And I'm not even going to kid you on this. This is a for real thing. Very for real.
Okay.
Every headline I'm about to show you literally came across the net the same day. Not only the same day, the same hour. As I was looking for
that's even
something
better.
else, they kept popping up. And I said, okay, we'll play this game. We'll play this game right now. So I started screenshotting them. Because I knew that this was going to I'm going to use this at some point to address the stupidity, the utter and complete stupidity, the fear campaign that is being waged against humanity. So this is not fake news, by the way. This is real. You can go look it up yourself. I don't really give a crap if you believe it or not, but my God, I will tell you guys this. My latest thing, you know how people hear these voices in their heads and, they think their spirit guides are talking to them or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I got the spirits in my head because I started hearing this one little thing over in my head, and it was basically something like, if you focus on negativity, negativity will focus on you. Well, it makes perfect sense. Negative and negative, right? We've talked about this before. I mean, look at where we used to work, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Negative brought negative, right? Okay, so that being said, I want you guys to watch what's going on here. This is one headline. First of all, let's dissect this. I really love the fact that they used her, because that pose is exactly how I reacted when I read this. Okay.
Got glasses on backwards and everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's supposed to represent someone having, I guess, when this red level storm hits the earth, people can be sensitive to it. And it
So
can
you
cause
said red level.
depression.
Since when did we start color coding these things?
Yeah. That's what made me start taking pictures.
Did Jim Justice make this color scale?
Homeland Security, Jim Justice, they're all the same. I mean, this is hilarious. Magnetic storm of red level to hit Earth. Date announced. I didn't even get the whole story, by the way, because this popped up the next second.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir. Supercontinent will kill us all, researcher says. These are real stories, guys. I just want to let you guys know.
The supercontinent.
Clickbait.
That's Explorer's Web. Yeah. So basically, what they're saying here is this is something that's going to happen in 250 million years, by the way. This isn't tomorrow, but that's okay because, fear
This is
sells.
as far in the future as it was that dinosaurs went extinct.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Just to put it into perspective.
Yeah, but you can worry about it today. Why?
We will be fossils at that point.
Actually, 250 million years ago, wouldn't that have been around when they first showed up?
I think that was the Jurassic era. Was 250 million years ago.
That just puts in perspective how far away this is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that, fear sells, right? So the next scary thing that came across the headline was, look at the quotes. Ring of fire. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to jump right in.
Yeah. Well, I'll grab the guitar here in a second and we'll just start doing it the right way because Johnny Cash would be proud of this one. Ring of fire solar eclipse will be visible to people in the U.S. for the first time in. Would you read that last part for me, Joe? Because I've thought just for a second that
This
I
would
might be
be-
reading it wrong.
For the first time in history.
History.
Yeah, that's what it
Okay,
says.
so let me explain to you guys what a ring of fire eclipse actually is, because that's kind of important. It's called that because the moon is literally farther out, right? So it's an
Yep.
eclipse that occurs when the moon's a little bit farther out. So it's not your typical eclipse. I'll give them that. But the farther it out it is, it makes this just really pretty. You know, you can still see the
You get a
the
really cool ring of
corona.
fire.
You get the ring of fire. You
Mhm.
got the corona. We literally had this discussion back in 2012 when it happened in
Yes.
2012. Perhaps it's just me, but I think 2012 happened in this history, or did we just confirm?
We got CERNed, Ron.
That's what I'm saying. Did we
We
just
got CERN.
confirm that the whole universe has changed and there's a
Yep.
whole new history at this point?
Yep.
No,
That's what
okay.
that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, so yeah, 2012. But no sooner did I get that when I got this. Oh no, wait! This is the magnetic storm thing. That's right, the solar flares. I wanted you guys to see this. Scientists are detecting powerful solar flares, and experts
Uh-oh.
predict red level magnetic storms in the coming days.
Well, guess when
Such-
those days were?
Such storms can affect human well-being, causing worsening health conditions. I want you guys to listen to this, okay? Worsening health conditions and disrupting the operation of electrical equipment when the magnetic storm reaches its peak, according to data from the Meteomagnetic website. Whatever. The point being, this happened on the 21st, I think, or 22nd. It happened before.
Oh, I
the
missed that.
rapture. Well, it happened before the rapture, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Which we missed that too, Brandon. We missed that too.
You're all sinners.
That's why
So-
everything's been so weird.
That's right.
Probably.
This is actually
I'm waiting for the
Hell.
space lasers. So anyway, because that's supposed to happen. All right. So next, one more for you. Parasitic brainworm spreading across southeastern U.S. Scientists warn. I kid you freaking not. And it was just a bombardment. I didn't even get like 3 of them because I was just like, I could just keep doing this forever. I could literally sit here and keep doing these doomsday snapshots
Yeah.
forever. And
Yeah.
it's like, what are they doing? Oh, I know what you're gonna say. I can hear you because I got the spirits in my head. So what you're thinking is, oh, they're manipulating our minds because they eat our fear. No,
they need the
I'm-
adrenochromes.
No,
Ron, go ahead.
idiots, sponges. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, stop pandering to these sites. Stop
Yeah.
spreading the crap. That's what they really want you to do.
Yeah.
And it isn't because they feed off of fear. It's because you are paying them. Every time you
Every
click, save, share. They're getting money every single time. And then every time those algorithms see that going up higher and higher and higher, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to invest in this. So the next company comes in and pops their ad
Better
on there.
placement.
It's a perpetual fear factory, and
Yeah.
you are playing into it. Except for me, I'm not playing into it. And I'm sorry if that really aggravates people, but that's freedom of speech, and we have that here. That's as far as I'm going to go as with it, basically, because I think it's absolutely ludicrous. And,
So basically, what you're getting at is your spooky story is humanity.
humanity is spooky.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Humans are the most, I've said this over and over, humans are one of the most terrifying species that you're going to come across.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's look at the Zeta Reticulans. They're not so terrifying. They just come and grab you at night, do a little chloroform thing on you, knock you out, shove you through a wall, possibly, end up on a table, do a few little experiments, It's just what they do. It's how they say hi. But then, we have humans if that were us, oh my God. Well, there's one. It's down. What's the first thing we do? We grab it, we throw it in the back of a truck, we take it, start ripping it apart. You know, I mean, this is humans. Terrifying. Terrifying creatures. So, you know, I know what you're thinking. But you are a human. Don't you insult me like that. Ever. So, anyway, sorry. So, as you may have guessed, the Spooktaculars are going to be a funner
Yeah.
set.
They're not going to be actually us trying to scare you out of your heebie-jeebies. We're going to throw you a few scary ones that are actually spooky.
Yeah.
But we're going to have fun with them.
We're going to have fun with them. There'll be a couple of serious ones, but for the most part, there will be fun interjected into this kind of stuff that we'll be making fun of ourselves, as you just saw. We'll be, you know, just being silly and crazy and having fun because, you know, spirits is in our heads.
Well, guys, are you ready for a segment that we have not done in ages?
Let's hear it. I want to hear how many people are actually still watching the show.
Right, that's exactly what we're getting ready to do. Everybody, you all are awesome. Our audio downloads are skyrocketing, guys. You guys are really, really, really just blowing us away. We want to thank every one of you guys that is hanging out and listening in your cubicles at night on the shift. If you're out driving, whatever, you guys are all awesome. So we have in our countries lineup, we've got 90% of our listenership is here in the United States. 4% is now coming from the United Kingdom. Canada following up right behind them at 1%. Australia has 1%. Germany also has 1%. Now, we know who that is over in Germany. They're all friends of ours. And we will see you at CryptidCon.
Yes.
You can't wait.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, in our cities lineup, guys, you all have really, really stepped up here. Our hometown, our home crew is actually at number 1. West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, to be more specific, is the number 1 downloaded for this week.
Something's wrong. Something's terribly wrong.
This is like the second time ever since we've been doing this that Charleston has been at number 1.
I don't understand.
And
I'm terrified.
So then following that, we've got Austin, Texas, Columbus, Ohio, Lexington, Kentucky, Mount Holly, Vermont. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 cities that I guarantee you are city people that started subscribing to us when they left Mothman Festival. And there's 1 country that became a Mothman follower because every single one of you have the exact same amount of downloads in the last, I think it's the last 7 days. And you've binged us. So thank you. We appreciate you.
I hope we didn't fail them with this episode. I feel terrible about this episode. It wasn't scary enough.
Oh, no. I mean, there's nothing more terrifying than being drugged to hell through a toilet, though.
That's true. Oh, wait. Yeah, there is.
Oh, no. A red level storm. Yeah. It's red, guys.
Yeah,
red means bad.
Red. Who determined that red means bad? I want to know.
I think the only thing worse than that would be, oh, no.
Oh, it's Godzilla. Well, that's a red level event right there if I ever seen one.
Oh, man. Well, this has been fun.
It has been fun.
It's been a fun one, guys.
So, guys, if you enjoyed the show, let us know. If you want to yell at us and scream at us and be mad and throw things, that's fine, too. If you take things personal that we say, then what's wrong with you? This is just a show. And if you want, if you've got a spooky story, an actual spooky story, or even a funny spooky story that you would like us to share on the show, send it over to wildandweirdwv@gmail.com. We will we'll read it out, and if you want, we'll credit your name to it because you've got between now and the end of October to send that in. And last year we had a few listener send-ins, so if you want, send us a story. We will read it off. Yeah, especially if you got the spirits in your heads.
Just label it that.
I'm
That's what the
never
subject
gonna-
line should read. I got spirits in my head.
I'm never going to let you forget that one.
That way we know why you're sending an email. But yeah, guys, it's this was fun, and it's cool. That
It was
I gotta
good to
say,
actually be able to laugh because we don't get to do that as much. If you listen to some of the old shows, you'll actually
Yeah.
hear us doing that. So
Um,
yeah, a lot of fun.
I'm going to drop a challenge out here, guys. This is the first time. Now, again, we haven't looked at this in quite a while. This is the first time in our cities lineup that somebody from outside of the U.S. has not been in the top 5. So I'm going to need you guys who are out of the country who are listening. And by the way, speaking of people who are out of the country listening, our friend from Africa
Mhm.
has finally come back. You know, we thought we lost them. But
Good
we
to see
have
Africa back on the map.
we've got Africa back on the map.
Yes.
I
So
think that Tanzania story might just reel them back in.
it very well could. Either that or they're going to be like, "Oh no, why are you talking about this?"
How do you know that happened?
Mm. Well, I'm pretty sure our viewership from Japan just dropped. But go ahead.
Well, we got
Japanese love that stuff, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
6% of the
Oh.
downloads come from Japan.
Oh well.
So we actually have a decent little audience over there.
Disregard that.
There's
I
two
mean, I
things
like
that they love over
Japan,
there right now.
so-
It's horror and pro wrestling.
Yes.
Those are the two biggest things in Japan. Well, anime, 3.
Anime. Yeah.
But
anime.
you mix all three together. You have a anime that's a terrifying and about wrestling. You've got gold.
Oh man.
Don't
You
tell
just
Kenny
gave-
Omega because he'll
you
make
just-
it happen.
You just gave somebody a brilliant idea. So.
God, I want to see that now.
I want royalties, guys. Royalties. So,
Go
everybody,
jump
thanks for hanging out with
robots.
us for the show. It's been fun. But guys, you all will be just tickled pink to find out that if you join the Wild and Weird Live episode, that you can just chat with us in person, in stream, and we do not miss a beat. We will stick with you. We will keep the chat rolling. We will divert and go off course as far as necessary to have fun and hang out with you guys in the chat, because y'all are not fans. Okay, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, our fans are fans are fans." You guys are family. You've been with us now for going on. 2024 is almost here, so it'll be almost 4 years at this.
Weirdos and weirdettes, man. That's what they are. We've already
The
told
weirdos
you.
and weirdettes.
That's
and
right. They make the
and you
world go
guys
round.
are amazing. So remember, jump over on the live feed every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Here once probably around Thanksgiving or Christmas, we're going to do one for you West Coasters. We're going to hang out. We're going to do a late one and be
Wait
up
for
to y'all.
Santa to show up. It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
We'll do it on
have-
Krampusnacht. And
Oh.
yeah, we'll bring the Krampus to the West Coast.
It's coming.
And then, guys, if you want to catch us on the road there, you've got a few more opportunities. We're going to be at Mysticon coming up on October the 7th. Then you'll be able to catch us on October 15th at Thunder in the Mountains Powwow in Fayetteville, West Virginia. And our last show rounding out the year that you'll be able to meet us and hang out. We'll be there for a total of, I think, 3 full days. You can catch us on Friday, hang out Saturday and Sunday at CryptidCon in Lexington, Kentucky. It's an absolute ball of a show. We're also speaking at both or all 3 of those events: Mysticon, the Powwow, and this one. We're speaking at all of them. What's that look for, Ron?
I'm trying to remember something here.
You look.
I got the ghosts in my head. Leave me alone.
You looked good. I just wanted to check on you.
Ghosts are in my head.
Every time you say that, I think of Beetlejuice saying, "I got demons running through me."
That was funny.
If you want to continue supporting Wild and Weird Radio and keep it free for eons and eons to come, you have a couple options. You can go over to wildandweirdwv.com and you can click on the shop. You can go pick up a t-shirt, or here soon you'll actually be able to get some of the merch because we're starting to slow down. And then you can also join us as a super chatter. You can become an executive producer for the show. You can donate directly to us. That goes towards keeping everything free. You know, we put up videos, we put up investigation videos, we put up extra content all the time, and we do that completely for free for all of our listeners because we have supporters who come in and week out, and they make sure that we're able to provide this content to everybody for free. And you can do that by jumping in and donating $1. And be a super chatter that way to keep things free. Or the best way to do it, honestly, is to go and share it with your friends. Hit the like buttons, share it with your friends, subscribe to the audio on whatever podcast platform you listen, tell your friends about it. Then go over to YouTube, look up Wild and Weird WV in the search engine, then subscribe, smash that notification bell. Like that way you get all of the information that we put out on YouTube. It's sent straight to you. Share it up on your social medias because that's greatly appreciated because it gets that out in front of more eyes, more people get to see it and become part of the show. And until next time, don't get drugged to hell through a toilet because that would just be terrible. You know, avoid the third floor and the third stall altogether for that matter. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
That'd be
Keep
a real
spirits
crappy
in
time.
your head. Keep the spirits in your head.